Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 67 of the Sports Blitz. And a happy new year to everybody out there as we've officially entered the year 2021 and we are back with more Sports Blitz craziness. If you're just tuning in for the first time, welcome. As always, I'm Robbie. Doug is here as well. Doug, happy new year to you as well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Welcome
Yeah, if you
to a new year.
Yeah, it's a new year. 2021 feels feels just as
Feels pretty
bad.
much the same.
Feels just as
It's
bad as
another
the
day,
old
man.
one. Yeah, I know. Same shit, different day. Just
That's correct.
but if you as we always say on this show, especially if you're a first timer, you'll sort of get to know our running gags very quickly on the show. If you've been living under a rock or in a cave, come on out for just a brief hour or so. Rock, yeah. Come on out for just a brief hour or so. Give us a listen, and then you can go right back in because it's not really safe to come out yet. Also, if you hear us speak random words just during the episode that just don't make any sense at all, we do have a live chat going between Doug and I. So sometimes we'll just type in words and the other person will repeat them. Doug just said rock, so that's why I said rock. Paper, scissors, all that good stuff. uh, but anyway, so for tonight's episode, what we wanted to do is obviously now that we've entered the first weeks of the new year, that means, as it always does, it is time for the NFL playoffs. That's right, the NFL playoffs will be kicking off this weekend. Now, the one difference this year, the one big difference in the 2021 NFL playoffs is for the first time since 2008, the NFL playoffs will not include one team, and that team is our hometown New England Patriots. That's right, the Patriots
Really?
finishing up. I know. I'm still in shock. I'm still in mourning. Although I got my Pats shirt on, so I'm just trying to rep the brand still, despite the fact that the Pat season is over. I am ready for some football. Are you ready for some football? Yeah, but yeah, the Patriots ended their 2020 regular season, 2020 season, this past Sunday against the New York Jets. It actually ended their season with a victory, 28-14 against the Jets. I know, it's shocking, right? They began and ended the season with a victory, and all the rest was complete crap. As they finished their season 7-9 overall, good for third place in the AFC East. And so, Doug, let's get into it here. Before we get into sort of the Patriots as a whole, because that's what we're going to kind of do tonight, focus sort of a Patriots season recap plus some NFL playoff talk as well. So, Doug, before we get into sort of the Patriots season as a whole, I wanted to ask you for just your reactions to the Pats' season finale victory, 28-14 on Sunday against the New York Jets.
I'm sorry. Was I supposed that was really my reaction right there to the win that means absolutely nothing.
We swept the season series with the Jets, Doug, and we
pretty
should be
much
celebrating it.
No one, and I was not celebrating anything. I was actually a little nervous going into the game because if you look at the Jets, the way they played the last few of their games, yeah, they were playing actually pretty well.
Yeah.
So I was
cost themselves a chance at number one pick in the process, but yeah,
that's true. That's true. They should have absolutely lost that game. But we won't talk about tanking. But we won't talk about that too much.
Thanks for Trevor.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I was kind of, I guess the word is numb. I was numb to it. I was just like, if you really want to know the truth, I didn't watch the game. I listened to it here and there, but I didn't watch it. I was disinterested. And I guess I was disinterested because of the fact, not because I'm not a sports fan, because I obviously am, but and I love the Patriots, but I think I was disinterested because I knew that they weren't going to go anywhere. Did I want to hear how Cam did? Yeah, I guess I did a little bit, but I was just like, you know what? I think I'd rather watch a sappy Hallmark movie. No, I think I think I would just. I mean, I think I'd be rather have my teeth scraped. It was just I thought I did say some of the replay of the game. It was okay. It wasn't that great, and I guess that I'm in that realm of I just want to move on from this year and just move on and see what we're gonna do next year.
Yeah.
So but I will tell you, I am a football fan, Robbie. So and I think you know that, and you and I are both football fans. I love the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
I know the last 20 years we've been in the playoffs, so it's kind of weird to not be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I love the playoffs, and I love the matchups that we're about to talk about. I think they're great matchups. It's going to be
definitely
really great. I mean, if you're a fan of football, this is the weekend to do it. We got 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, and we got the national championship game on Monday night. I mean, this is like a football frenzy. It's awesome.
It is awesome.
And as you can tell, I'm talking about other things other than this game, and I just that's the reason.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
No, I was just going to say that my overall reaction is that I was happy that they won. Obviously, anytime you beat the Jets, it definitely is a good thing. I will say this: I felt like it was interesting how sort of Cam Newton's first game as a Patriot and what looks to be his last game as a Patriot. So, Doug, what I wanted to ask you again as we sum up this 2020 Patriots season is sort of what is one word that you would use to describe the 2020 Patriots season overall?
Oh, wait, only one word?
One word, yeah. That's sort of the opening question.
Yeah.
I think I think you did this. I think you sort of. I'm going off of I remember our Patriots recap last year, which by the way, give that a listen if you have not already. Where you kind of asked me the same thing to kind of give a sort of a one word recap to the one word that best describes the season. So I was curious.
I actually do have the word. Disappointing. That's the only word that I can think of that comes right to the frontal lobe. Is disappointing. It was just, the first game, I guess we thought we had something and we didn't. And it seemed like it was almost
first couple weeks. First
couple weeks. But
so.
when it comes down to it, Robbie, it was one of those things where it was the same as the year before. I really have to tell you, it was the same as last year, except we had a different quarterback. There was nothing real different about the 2 years, except for the fact that we did better with Brady than we did with Cam. I didn't see anything different. Maybe we had a few different players.
Lack of wide receiver depth. Still had
everything.
Same.
Everything.
Maybe
everything from top to bottom.
The only difference I will say, not necessarily on the offensive end, but on the defensive end, there were a few key pieces missing.
But on the defensive end, J.C. Jackson played like he was on fire.
Oh, he was great. I mean, where
did he come from?
Or whatever it was. It was.
This
fantastic.
was a great year for him. It was a great year for him. And what's really great is that he's definitely going to be part of the defense, hopefully for years to come. And just he was playing better than Devin McCourty as far as I'm concerned. Devin played fairly well, and so did his brother. But again, J.C. Jackson's coming out of it. Just
J.C. turned it up this year. That's for sure.
If he wanted his stock to go up this year, he certainly did it this year.
I'll tell you.
That was definitely the shining spot of the whole.
Absolutely.
Out of the whole year was definitely him on the defensive
spot. No, definitely a big bright spot. And I
But
would say
that's all I can say.
yeah,
What's one word that you could think of, Robbie?
I'm gonna kind of you piggyback off the word I used last year and say inconsistent. I just think it was a very inconsistent season. It was so frustratingly inconsistent at times. You know, they started off the season very well, gave us a lot of reason for optimism, and then they just went up and down the whole rest of the season, mainly down. You know, you just did not see the performance from the offense that, you know, is worthy enough of making a playoff berth or, you know, even competing for a division title or anything like that. The defense, it had its so yeah, I think it's very interesting because obviously this Pats team, I believe, is going to look yeah a lot different next year in a lot of different ways as they look to sort of bounce back in 2021. So I kind of want to ask you, Doug, is what in your mind needs to happen in this off season for the Patriots to sort of get back come next season to sort of get back into that, you know, true contender role that we've sort of become so accustomed to seeing over the years.
Yeah, I think one of the things we have to do is we have to figure out a quarterback situation. I think that's one of
That's
the
number
main
one.
things.
That yeah, I think that's number
One of the
one.
main things. Whether we have a bridge quarterback to come in like pretty much anybody, or you know, we would have Jimmy G. Jimmy G seems to be kind of
Yeah,
not out there yet, but there's some talk about it.
there's rumors. There's
Yeah, there's
rumors
rumors
out
out there.
there.
The only issue I have with Jimmy G is that he can't stay
Injury.
healthy.
Yeah.
The injury kind of situation. And how much are we going to pay for him too? We're going to pay $25 million for a guy to freaking be hurt?
Well, he's still under
No,
contract. I mean, he's under that long deal with San
no, I know that.
Francisco.
No, I know.
So
But I think what I'm saying is we're going to pay that much money to have him come in when we just paid Cam Newton less than $1 million or $1 million just to
yeah,
come in and be
true.
crappy.
It's true.
There are some others out there that people are
Stafford,
kind of.
Matt Stafford is
Yeah,
the
Matt
name I keep
Stafford
hearing bounced
also,
around.
although he just got hurt too. Not seriously, I don't think, but he just got hurt. But I guess it's one of those things where are we going to pick up a stopgap for a little while and be able to pick somebody up in the draft? We probably have our draft places probably around the number 15. Are we going to pick, or is Bill going to do like he usually does and pick up a tight end and a defensive defensive person, defensive player? So it's one of those things where I just think they definitely need to look at quarterback. They definitely need to shore up the offensive line.
Yeah.
And they have to. The defense was very good this year. I
I
don't
think they
really have
have to
much of a
hope that a
problem with
lot
the
of guys.
defense.
I think they have to hope a lot of those key pieces come back next. You know,
This
next
is the other
year.
problem I have is that they're going to have a lot of cap space, but there's going to be a lot of players that are going to come back. So how much cap space are we actually going to have
Right.
after all those
Right.
people that we want to come back?
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
if COVID's still around and people are going to opt out again, are we going to have Hightower? Is Hightower coming back? These are the kinds of questions that
Chung,
we
you
need
know,
to.
all these.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
no.
think Chung's coming back, but I think that Hightower is great for the run, and there's a couple other players that kind of opted out, and now they're going to come back. So
Right.
there's a lot of questions in
Yeah.
a lot of different areas, but I think one of the areas that they really have to not just think about but have a plan for is definitely the quarterback position.
Agree.
That's just my
Agree.
opinion on that. And
No, agree.
what's your opinion on that, Ron?
No, I agree with you completely. And whether it be, I truly don't. My prediction is this. I made this on another show that I'm on called On a Couch Talking Sports, which shameless plug. Is that I do not believe that the Pats starting quarterback in 2021 is currently on their roster. I think that they are going to pick
I agree with
somebody
that.
up in the off season, whether it be through trade, free agency. I'm not as high on the being through the draft. I think that that's more of at this point sort of more the picks that they're going to get are more sort of guys that may need a year or two to develop. But I think that they're going to pick somebody up to get picked off. Um, in whether it be
Really?
in free agency or
Oh, we're gonna have Kevin again? Is that
trade.
what you
Yeah,
just said?
yeah.
Um,
No, I think in free agency or via trade, I think it's gonna be the best bet for them this offseason.
yeah, hey, there was a report out today that Mr. Deshaun Watson is not very happy
Not very
with
happy in Houston.
not very
And
happy
by
in Houston.
Houston, who,
No.
by the way, just hired one good old Nick Casario.
And they're not happy about it either down in Houston.
Watson is not happy that he wasn't happy that he was
The
not
players aren't
consulted.
happy either. They're not happy with that. I don't know why, but they're just not happy.
Casario's a great. I mean, Casario's a great front office guy. I don't know why you were.
I mean,
well,
Bill's the
obviously,
GM.
that's why he didn't want to be. That's why he wanted to leave, was so he could actually do things. But hey, happy trails to Nick Casario. Best of luck in Houston. Yeah, I know. I mean, bottom line is I agree with you completely. I think quarterback is sort of the number one need for this team to fill as they look ahead to 2021, and it's going to remain to be seen how they do that. Who they go after. I don't think we can speculate, but in reality, I think it's sort of a wait and see game to see how they handle that process before we can really sort of look ahead to next year and say, okay, now that we got this guy, our predictions, our prognostications are this. So I think that's going to be a big tell as to how 2021 is going to go when we see how that quarterback position all shakes out.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So what I did want to do, obviously, with the Patriots' disappointing season, we obviously did not want to harp on the Patriots too much, but we felt like we needed to sort of give them the recap. Now
I'm kind of throwing up in my mouth a little bit, so I really don't want to continue with the conversation.
Yeah. No, what we did want to get into next was a little NFL playoff preview. Like we said, the 2021 NFL playoffs or 2020 season playoffs that are happening in 2021 will be beginning this weekend with the wild card round.
Trying to do the math tonight. It's hurting my head.
Yeah. Welcome to my world.
I actually understand what you're saying, but it's just hurting.
In a new and improved wild card round, because now, as many of you know, beginning this year, the NFL went to 7 playoff teams per conference as opposed to 6 in past years. So there will now be 3 wild card games in each conference as opposed to 2. And so we've got, on the AFC side, we've got the number 2 seeded Buffalo Bills taking on the 7th seeded Indianapolis Colts. We've got the 3rd seeded Pittsburgh Steelers playing host to the 6th seeded Cleveland Browns. And then we have the 4th seeded Tennessee Titans playing host to the 5th seeded Baltimore Ravens, with, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs, the number 1 seed, sitting there with the bye into the divisional round. And on the NFC side, we have the Packers getting the bye. We have the 2 seed being, was it New Orleans? They got the Saints, the New Orleans Saints
playing the Bears,
the Chicago Bears. We've got the 3rd seeded
Seahawks
playing the Rams, correct? Rams, number 6 seed, I believe. And then the 4-5 matchup, we have the Washington football team, the NFC East champions, playing host to the 5th seeded Tampa Bay Buccaneers and one Tom Brady, who will be making yet another playoff appearance in his illustrious career, albeit this year in a different uniform. So I want to ask you first, Doug, before we sort of go matchup by matchup here, is just at the outset, you can either give me one or maybe even like 1 or 2 teams from each conference that you would say are your favorites in these 2021 NFL playoffs.
I mean, without going game to game, just like 1 or 2 other teams.
Just overall favorites before we sort of get into each first round matchup.
Okay, so in the AFC, I'm gonna say, and this may be surprising, and it may not. One is a surprising one is, well, maybe not surprising, but the other one is definitely not surprising. So in the AFC, it's definitely the Chiefs. That's probably my number one there. And don't let my boss hear that because she's a Chiefs fan, although she lives in Colorado. She spent some time in Kansas City.
Boy, rooting against the West. I mean, rooting within the West.
Rooting against her. Yeah, that's right. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but she's always razzing me about the Chiefs. And I would say my second team is going to be Buffalo. I am very incredibly impressed with the way Buffalo has played.
Yeah.
And
Josh Allen
and Stephon Diggs have been unbelievable, and the way they've played, their defense is really good.
Yeah.
And I just think they're definitely my my second team in the AFC. The NFC, this one's a little bit more difficult.
I know it is. I shall see my wider range coming up here, so it'll be interesting to see what you say compared to what I say.
I know, because it's
wide open. It is a wide open conference.
It's more wide open than the AFC. I really do think it's wide. It's definitely more wide open. It really is. So I'm going to go. My first pick on that would definitely be the Packers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is playing like he's got his hair on fire, but he's always been really good.
Someone might want to get some water and put that out. Just
yeah, exactly. Just get a little water, put it out on it because it can't put the helmet on with the hair on fire. And I actually have a tie at second. I'm really having a problem.
I'm curious to see if it is in line with my tie at second as well.
I'm having a tie at second, but I'm kind of leaning toward one, and I'm gonna say which one I'm leaning toward because I think this team is just a little bit better, just a little, just with their offense, and I'm thinking about injuries maybe on the other side, possibly. So I don't know. So my tie is the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
And the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Literally, okay. You and I literally not even
we did
not talk about this at all. You and I literally have the same exact favorites in that order on both sides of the ledger. Both sides of the ledger. Yeah, I'm all aboard Kansas City and Buffalo. Kansas City being.
I guess we've been talking sports for a long time, Robbie. So it makes sense.
Right? Yeah. No,
they're in the same brainwaves.
I mean, I'm all aboard Kansas City and Buffalo in the AFC. With Kansas City, I think being sort of a cut above
the pinnacle,
the top right there. Yeah. And then I mean, I think it's Packer. I think that there are three teams that I can definitely see coming out of the NFC, and that is the Green Bay Packers, the New Orleans Saints, or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
But I will tell you, I do have another team in the NFC. Just in the NFC, the Seahawks. It's just that, exactly. The Seahawks, just because they're playing so well now.
Yeah.
They're playing so well, and you could never, ever discount Russell Wilson.
No.
You just can't. No. If he's on, you just can't discount him. But definitely the Seahawks would be my kind of like right under those other teams.
But yeah, it is very hard to go.
So I think I really think that the Steelers are probably not going to knock the Browns off. I really think it's going to be COVID that knocks the Browns out, which is really terrible because it's talking about 8 starting players, including the head coach. Who's not going to be able to be at the game. So this
leads the team to the first playoff appearance in 18 years. And
exactly, and cuts it short, not because of even injury,
because of illness.
Because of illness. Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. I feel bad for him. I guess I do a little bit.
I really do.
But it is what it is, and that's the sign of the times. And we'll see what happens the next day or so. I'm hoping, Robbie, that no other teams have any COVID issues, and so far they haven't. But if one of these teams, see, we could have said all those teams. If one of these players that we just mentioned
Goes
comes down with
down
COVID and can't
and
play,
it makes a big difference.
that's the whole ball
It
game.
makes a
I
big
mean,
difference.
that's the ball game right there.
You're right.
And I just, it sucks, but it's just the way of the world right now.
That's
So
right.
we'll see what happens. But so far, we're good. It's just the Browns that are getting
Having
hit by it.
some
But
issues right now. So
yeah, exactly.
we'll
But
see how
yeah.
that plays out. But I did want to kind of go into these first round matchups a little bit here. Starting on the AFC side, like we said, we got the Buffalo Bills against the Indianapolis Colts to sort of kick things off in that 2-7 matchup again. The first time that a 2 seed has not gone a bye through to the divisional round with the new, obviously, with the added team on each side starting this season. So, I mean, you and I both predicted the Bills as one of our favorites.
So I think what the Colts have to do is they have to put pressure on Josh Allen, and they have to take out, not literally, of course, but they have to take out.
No bounty gates.
No,
Nothing like that.
please, none of that. But just we have to. I think they have to put some pressure on Josh Allen, but they also have to kind of, kind of take Stephon get Stephon Diggs. I wish I could speak. Stephon Diggs out of the game a little bit too.
Right.
If they do that, the Colts may have a little bit of a chance, but I still think Buffalo's defense is so much better. I also think their offense is better. So I don't see the Colts winning this game.
I agree with you. And obviously we mentioned the Browns issues with COVID as they go into their 3-6 matchup, them being the 6th seed and the Steelers being the 3rd seed. I mean, I guess the question becomes, obviously the Steelers have not been playing that great over the last few weeks either. They sort of had their end of the season struggles. So, with these COVID issues sort of popping up and affecting their starting lineup, is there still any sort of chance that you see of the of the Browns potentially pulling the upset here over the Steelers, or is it just going to be too much to overcome?
I think we're talking about 8 starters plus their head coach. So I see a real issue with that. They could step it up, but I just don't see that happen. I think the Steelers are a little bit more of a tougher team than that. My friend Jeff Tawano down in South Carolina, he's been a Pittsburgh Steelers fan forever. So we're constantly talking back and forth about that. But I think, I don't know. I think the Steelers are just a better team. Even if there was no COVID issues, I think the Browns would still have a bit of a difficulty. I think they'd have a better time if they were all healthy. And they might be healthy, but they're listed as COVID out. So I just think it's going to be very tough for the Browns. I really do.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I think the most intriguing matchup of the AFC side of things is the Titans hosting the Ravens. Obviously, a rematch of last year's divisional round won by the Titans in Baltimore. So now the Ravens a little bit of a chance to return the favor this year and get a win in Tennessee. Lamar Jackson has not had as great a year this year as maybe last year. Obviously when he won NFL MVP. I don't know. For me, this game might be kind of a toss-up in a sense. Definitely a bigger toss-up than the other two AFC matchups. I just was curious to sort of which way do you see this game going, and what do you think will be the difference maker for whichever team sort of comes out on top in this matchup?
I think Lamar Jackson has to be over the top. I think the Titans have a pretty good defense, and they've been playing fairly well.
And Derrick Henry, by the way.
Yeah.
And Derrick Henry.
Well, yeah,
ran
of
all
course.
over the Ravens last year.
Right. Well, that's what I was talking about, and that's why I think the Titans are gonna be a little bit.
Yeah. So for the NFC, obviously we have, like we said, the number 2 Saints going up against the Bears. I I think we could both agree that the Saints are. It would be a miracle if the Bears actually won this game, given
Yes.
the fact that the Bears basically had to back their way into the playoffs with the help of the Cardinals losing. So,
Yes.
I mean, I don't really know. I don't really think we really need to really say anything about it because I think it's pretty evident that the Saints are going to win.
I just want to watch it to see it blow out. So I just
Yeah.
I want to watch
Yeah.
it. I love watching Drew Brees because I think he's a great quarterback, and I just Kamara is a great running back, and just got some really great players on their team, and I love watching them play. It's just it's very good, but I don't see the Bears winning this game.
Not at all. But kind of an intriguing matchup is the Seahawks and Rams in that 3-6 matchup, obviously an NFC West battle there. Obviously the Seahawks, we kind of put them sort of in our fourth spot in terms of favorites there in the NFC. I guess the question is, what do the Rams need to do to sort of go in there to Seattle and perhaps pull an upset?
I don't know. I just I just think the Seahawks are just a much stronger team. I just don't. I don't see. I really don't see the Rams doing. I don't see that happening. I really don't. And the only thing I could think of is again, just like Josh Allen, is to just put defensive pressure on Russell Wilson and make him run all the time.
Right.
Because it's just he's good. He's a good runner, but he can't do it all the time. But just putting pressure on him, that's the only thing I can think of that they can possibly do. But I see the Seahawks winning this game.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, the most intriguing game in a sense is the four-seeded Washington football team versus the who. I mean, the NFC East was a dumpster fire of epic proportions this season, and so obviously, whoever wins that division still gets to host a playoff game, which you can debate on a different. We can have a whole debate on on whether or not that should be the case, but obviously, with the one matchup I think of this entire first round where the road team is probably favored to win. So I guess my question goes on the flip side for this matchup, and that is, what does the football team need to do? It sounds so weird to say. What does the football team need to do to upset the road team, the team coming into their building, the Buccaneers, come this weekend?
The only thing I can think of is sending a pizza, or sending a pizza that has been sitting around for about a week, maybe 10 days. Sending a pizza to the team and having them eat it before the game. That's the only thing I could think of, because they, number one, would have food poisoning, or number two, they'd be in the bathroom for a really long time. That's the only thing I can think of that the Washington football team can do to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Other than that, they tried it with Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan still won the game.
Right.
So they tried. It didn't work.
Didn't work at all.
Yeah. So I don't think there's anything that Washington can really do in this situation.
I agree. I think
they're just glad to be in it.
Yeah.
I think they're glad to be in it, but other than that, I don't think they have much of a chance.
Not happening.
I'm not saying not happening at all.
So I guess it sort of boils down to this question for me, this sort of final prognostication, if you want to call it that.
Big ass word, man.
I know, right? I'm chock full of them. And that is, I want to kind of just sort of put it out there again, putting our money where our mouth is, trying to act smart. Who do we think will be if somebody? I don't want to go with that analogy, but if somebody came to us and said, Robbie and Doug, who do you think will be in Miami for the Super Bowl come 3 weeks from now, or whatever, however long it is, for both the AFC and NFC? Who would you pick? My AFC answer is pretty easy. NFC. So let's just get that right out of the way. I'm gonna guess we're probably both saying Chiefs. We're
Chiefs,
probably
yes,
both saying Chiefs for the AFC.
yes.
Now for the NFC. Um,
This one's a little bit more
this
difficult.
one's definitely a lot more difficult. You know what? I'm gonna go for here. I'm gonna go. Oh boy, this is tough. But I
It
am
is.
going to go. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna take that shot in the dark, and I'm gonna say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be in Miami for the Super Bowl. I just think Brady just seems to be on this mission to prove everybody wrong. You know, after leaving the Patriots and coming to Tampa, and I don't know, Colin, maybe just me, just again still feeling that Brady aura or whatever, but I just there's something inside me telling me to lean towards the Bucks, and I don't know what it is, and I'm probably gonna be proven foolish here in just a couple weeks, but I'm gonna take that chance with my NFC pick. I'm gonna say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are gonna be there to face off against the Chiefs in Miami. So, Doug, I'm sure you're probably gonna go a completely different way, especially after hearing how probably just stupid I sounded making that pick. But what are your thoughts?
No, it's definitely not a stupid pick because there are at least that I know of three teams that I believe that
Right.
are definite possibilities, and that's one of them. So, and I don't blame you for saying that. The issue I have with the Bucks right now is that they're they're playing very well. The issue I have is that they're starting to get a little hurt, and
Yeah.
that's kind of my issue with them a little bit. So
Yeah.
if I would have put them here, I would probably put them in a different bracket. I mean, it'd be one, two, three. It'd probably be maybe number two. Um, I mean, you always believe in Tom Brady. You always believe in Tom Brady in the playoffs, and of course, that's just what it is. And he's probably out of all these teams, he's probably have the most experience, other than the other two teams, which I'm going to tell you right now are the Packers and the Saints.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
my thought process is I'm gonna go way over the top here, and I'm
Okay.
gonna say I'm gonna go one, two, three with my pick. I'm gonna say it's gonna be the Saints,
Ooh. Okay.
the Buccaneers, and then the Packers.
Okay. Okay. Hey, I think the Saints are a very reasonable pick as well. I mean, sort of the last ride for Breeze. As it sounds like he's going to be retiring after this season. So I think I can definitely get down with that.
He's definitely on a retirement mission,
Right.
and he definitely wants to win a Super Bowl. And he's got a tremendous team. He's got
Yeah.
a very, very good team.
Right.
So my thought process is that uh, again, going back to it, I never count out Tom Brady because you can't. No matter what team he's on, you can't count him out. And he's definitely on a mission to prove that he can win a Super Bowl without Bill and without the Patriots. And I get it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely there. I get it. And Aaron Rodgers, you never can count Aaron Rodgers out because he's always a great player on a pretty good team too. So you just never can count them out either. So it's a little bit more difficult in the NFC, but that's what I think of my one, two, threes right there.
Now here's my question. Again, this is us trying to play prognosticators here, but out of both of those teams that we picked to win, that we picked as our favorites in the NFC, my Bucks for myself and the Saints for you, is there any chance for either one of those teams to dethrone the Chiefs if we're realistically thinking about it?
Yes,
Yeah, I mean I agree. I think it's going to be a very tough order. I think the
not
Chiefs.
impossible.
No, it's definitely not impossible. I just think that the Chiefs. I mean, yeah, I'm still gonna go with the Chiefs to repeat if I had if sort of making an overall prediction here, but I think against either one of those teams, I think you're gonna get a game. I don't think but I think ultimately my prediction is I think the Chiefs are gonna win it all again. If I'm sort of making an honest prediction here, but I think either way you go, both of those teams, or even the Packers, if they were to get there as well, I think could give the Chiefs a definite ball game.
Yeah, I definitely I'm gonna reserve my
Yeah.
absolute
Oh yeah.
pick
Oh yeah.
for maybe another time. But I
Right.
do think that the Saints, and of course I have that in the back of my head, but I believe the Saints and the Bucks can not only give the Chiefs a game. I think that they have the ability to be able to win because I think they match up very well, both teams, and even the Packers do too. But
Yeah.
more or less, I think the Saints and the Bucks definitely match up very well with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, this all remains to be seen.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely. We could be
uh,
totally wrong
yeah,
and
we could
totally
be
off.
totally off here. So,
Could be the
you know,
Washington football team against
Cleveland
the
Browns.
Browns.
What a Super Bowl matchup that would be.
I would definitely watch that game.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing.
That'd be a great
But
game right there.
before we get into sort of the end part of our episode, I did want to quickly ask you because we had kind of touched on it a little bit, kind of at the beginning of the episode. Just sort of your thoughts. I know you were talking about, we got the college football national championship game coming up on Monday. We've got Alabama back in it after a year's absence, taking on Ohio State, who demolished Trevor Lawrence and the Clemson Tigers in the second semifinal a few days ago. Just wanted to get if you had any thoughts or predictions about the championship game on Monday.
Yeah, I actually do. I think Ohio State has a good chance of actually
Justin Fields is a really good quarterback.
beating Alabama. And guess what? I just saw a notification. There's one sports writer out there. I'm not sure who it is because I didn't read the whole article because I didn't get a chance to. But there's one article out there that says that the Patriots are going to be taking Justin Fields
Ooh.
at number 15.
Ooh.
Just one. That's all I saw. I didn't read the whole thing, but yeah, Justin Fields is very, very definitely
not to discount Alabama. Definitely not discounting Alabama.
No.
I don't had a heck of a season.
Whoever is discount Alabama.
No. I'm just saying because
I'd actually like to see Ohio State win because Alabama wins all the time.
True.
Not like
last
the Patriots.
Year, but in years.
No. I know. In years before, they've won. I mean, they've won more. I think in the last 10 years than anybody has.
It would be interesting. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it.
Yeah,
I think it will be. I don't necessarily know if I know who's gonna win. If I can predict who's gonna win, but I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a close one.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll tell you, any football fan that wants football, you're having 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, and then you got the national championship on Monday night.
What more could you ask for?
Can't ask for anything more than that, man. Cannot ask for anything more.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of exciting football to be played here over these coming weeks, and obviously we cannot wait to see what happens with all of it. Who takes home the title, and if we just made ourselves look like complete morons with those prognostications or not. But
just like anybody else doing
right.
it. So
that's right.
It is what it is.
But I did want to move on to the end portion of our episode, as we always do on this show. It is time for our final thoughts as we wrap up episode 67. Doug, I'll let you go first this week. What is your final thought of the evening?
I actually have 2 final thoughts.
Ooh, okay.
2 as opposed to 1. My first final
2 is more than 1.
2 is better than 1.
Yes.
My first final thought is finally the Bruins actually did something right, and they actually have a new captain.
True.
Their new captain is Patrice Bergeron, officially, which is not surprising, but obviously very glad that he is the new captain. I think he was the A. He's been the A for a long time, assistant captain. Anyway, he's been there a long time. He definitely deserves it. And looking forward to seeing what the Bruins can put together without Chara. But looking forward to seeing,
Hey,
what
hockey
happens.
season starts a week. The Bruins season starts a week from tonight, folks.
13th, 13th,
14th for their
14th.
opener. So a week
Yeah.
from tonight, Bruins are back.
Excellent. And my other final thought is that I know nobody will know this name too much, but if you've been watching the Celtics games
Oh,
in the
I think I know. I
last
think I know who
few
you're going with
games,
this. I think I know who
in the
you're
last
going
few
with.
games, a rookie named
Yeah.
Peyton Pritchard
Yep.
is the new legend in the town of Boston.
Unbelievable.
City of Boston. Unbelievable how he has 2 winning shots. Don't know where this is coming from, except Danny Ainge looks like an absolute genius when it comes to picking again. And who knows? This could just be one of those things where he's got a little luck, a little rookie luck there. But you know what? It might not be luck. This might be a pretty good player. And the reason I say Robbie is because he was the only one. He was the only one that did what nobody does in the NBA. Crash the boards.
Yeah.
And the reason he crashed the boards is because he was in a great program. A great program in college. And they teach you in college to do what? Crash the boards.
Box out. Yeah.
If he didn't crash the boards, he wouldn't have put that shot up and in to win the game yesterday.
3 in a row for the Celtics.
Exactly.
That's
so
great.
What I'm saying is that not only does he have the shooting ability and the ability to do different pieces and parts, he's got the training and the actual basketball acumen to do this too. This is a good sign. I'm not going crazy over this yet.
Go crazy, folks. Go crazy.
But it's okay to think that,
it's exciting. Yeah,
this isn't such a bad team right now, and let's see what we can do.
No, not at all.
See about the trade exception that Danny might use. Hopefully he'll use it. See if Kemba can come back. We got Tristan Thompson playing excellent.
Yeah.
Playing exactly what he's supposed to do is get the rebound and stop guys from coming inside. Just they're playing very well, and it's an exciting team to see. So we'll see what happens down the road. But again, Danny Ainge looking like the king of basketball.
I know. Seriously.
Unbelievable. But that's my final thoughts of the evening. What are your final thoughts, Robbie?
So my final thought is this: obviously, with the 1-year Cam Newton experiment, if you want to call it that, in New England and Foxborough coming to an end, I did want to say this one thing in a positive light about Cam Newton is that, and by the way, I am wearing what is soon to be a collectible Cam Newton shirt tonight for the occasion.
I love his interviews. His interviews are fabulous.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, is that I appreciate the fact that Cam Newton, even in the toughest moments, even when it would have been easy to blame others and all that stuff, he took responsibility for his poor performance. He took responsibility for his mistakes, and he acted like a true leader quarterback should. Yeah, he did not play well. No question about it. Absolutely, not a debate. But the fact that he at least exhibited that maturity to accept responsibility, I thought was an absolutely fantastic growth for him as a person and as a player, compared to some of the things we've seen. And hey, listen, it's funny because a lot of guys coming in said that they really liked him as a locker room guy. His past teammates, even though the media kind of gave him a hard time, there were a lot of guys that have played with him who raved about the kind of guy he was in the locker room. And I think we saw that really come out, especially towards the end of the season, where he, like I said, just plain and simple took responsibility. And that's what you want to see in your leader, your quarterback. When the team's not doing well, you don't want guys throwing each other under the bus. You want them to take responsibility for their mistakes, and he really did. And I
it was all on me.
I mean, listen, I appreciate that. Obviously, it didn't work out here, but I wish him well, and I think he, it'll be interesting to see if somebody else picks him up down the road here to maybe give him another shy. Um,
Robbie, he wants
seeing some,
$25 million.
I don't think it's
They're not going to pick him
strong
up for 25
likelihood,
million.
but I think just the fact that the way he handled himself, especially towards the end of what was definitely a frustrating season, was definitely a positive in his column. So I appreciate that about Cam.
Listen, Robbie, not a great quarterback this year, but a great human being.
Absolutely. So that is going to wrap it up for this week's edition of the Sports Blitz, episode 67. By the way, folks, we have an amazing, stupendous, awesome episode 68 coming your way next week, where we have a very special guest coming on the episode. Doug, I'm going to ask you because we didn't talk about this. Should I say the name or should I leave them in suspense? Should I leave them teased here?
I think we might want to leave them teased right now, and maybe we'll think about maybe doing a little bit of a shout out maybe sometime next week, maybe to preview the episode, maybe. But yeah, we can do a little.
All right, but just know, folks, that we've had a lot of great guests on so far. Don't get us wrong.
Well, why don't you tell him? Why don't you tell them what he does? Don't tell him the name.
I'm not gonna tell you the name, but he is a sports blogger. He has his own sports blog. He is a play-by-play announcer. He is a PA announcer. He's had experience at the collegiate level in sports information. He's been a sports writer. I mean, this guy's pretty much done it all in the sports industry, and so we cannot wait to have our special guest on next week. And looking very much forward, like I said, to episode 68. So that's gonna wrap it up for episode 67. As always, that's Doug. I'm Robbie, and we will see you next time here on the Sports Blitz. Bye, everybody.